Today, we're going to unpack the story of a company called Warp. And honestly, their story is the perfect playbook for what's happening right now. This absolutely wild, explosive growth in the age of AI. It shows you how one big tech shift can take a cool idea and just strap a rocket to it.
So let's start with a number, $50 million. Just let that sink in for a second. That's the kind of investment that really makes you lean in. It screams massive confidence. And in this case, it came from a legendary VC firm, Sequoia.
Okay, but here's the part that's going to blow your mind. They got that 50 million with just 5,000 users. Do the math on that. That's like valuing every single user at $10,000 for a product that had zero revenue and wasn't even really an AI company yet.
So this is the big question, right? This is the mystery we're going to solve in this explainer. How on earth does a tiny company with 5,000 users land a $50 million check? What was the secret sauce that Sequoia was betting the farm on?
To get it, we've got to rewind the clock. Let's go back to the beginning, way before the AI hype train even left the station. This is all about Warp's foundation and the bet that, frankly, looked a little crazy at the time.
You know, so many great companies start with someone just getting really annoyed at something. And for Warp, it was deeply personal. The CEO, Zach Lloyd, used to be a principal engineer at Google, and he was just fed up. He hated using the command line terminal. You know, that black box of text every single developer has to use, but that's just notoriously clunky and, well, a pain to use.
And it's so important to remember this. Warp did not start out as an AI company. Nope. The original idea was way simpler, but also incredibly ambitious. They wanted to reinvent one of the two main tools on every developer's screen. The goal was to make the terminal powerful, sure, but also easy to use for everybody, not just for the hardcore experts.
So you might think, what a gamble. But for Sequoia, this wasn't some blind bet. It was all about pattern recognition. It's classic venture capital. They saw all the right pieces, a top-tier team, a super difficult technical problem that most couldn't solve, and a market that was, well, every developer on the planet. It was a huge, unorthodox swing at a fundamental piece of software, and they wanted in on the ground floor.
Okay, so everything we've talked about so far, that was the setup. This is the turning point. The initial bet was big, yeah, but when powerful AI models hit the scene, that was the rocket fuel. This wasn't just adding a new feature, it completely changed the DNA of the entire company.
And the transformation was, it was night and day. Before AI, Warp was a better terminal. It made you maybe, 30% more productive? Which is awesome, don't get me wrong. But with AI, it became an agentic co-pilot. Think of it like a smart assistant that's right there with you, helping you write and run code. It went from being a nice tool to this kind of magical sci-fi interface that can make a developer 5 times more productive. The whole value proposition just exploded.
And if you want to see what that explosion looks like in cold, hard cash, well, here you go. In May of last year, Warp hit $1 million in annual recurring revenue. Pretty good. But then they went all in on AI in June. And look at that chart. It just went vertical. They started adding $1 million of new revenue every single week. That's not just growth, people. That's a launch sequence.
Yeah, this wasn't some slow, steady climb. This was hitting the ignition button. It was this sudden, insane validation that their huge pivot to AI was the right move. They had clearly tapped into something huge that the market was desperate for.
But here's the thing about launching a rocket ship, right? The launch is messy. It's violent. It's chaotic. And that kind of unprecedented growth, well, it breaks things. It forced Warp to face a whole new category of very expensive, very tricky problems.
All of a sudden, they were just buried, drowning in support tickets. They were getting slammed with fraud from people abusing their AI features on free accounts, costing them over $1 million a month. And maybe the biggest oh crap moment was realizing that AI tools just don't have those sweet 90% profit margins like normal software. Their costs were massive and totally unpredictable.
To stay alive, they had to do something drastic. They had to completely tear up their business model. See, their old fixed-price plan meant they were actually losing money on their best customers. The more someone used the AI, the more it cost Warp. So they made a super smart switch to a hybrid model, a small monthly fee for the main product, and then you pay for what you use on the AI side. Suddenly, their incentives were perfectly aligned with their users. The more value you got, the more successful they became. And this isn't just Warp's story. It's a playbook we're seeing all over the AI world.
So what does this whole crazy journey tell us about the big picture?
because this isn't just about one company's success. It's really a sneak peek into a fundamental change in how all software is going to be built from now on.
Warp CEO Zach Lloyd sees it like this. We're moving through 3 big phases. For almost all of history, engineering was about writing code by hand, line by tedious line. Right now, we're in the second phase, writing software by prompt. We're collaborating with an AI. But the future? The future's about becoming an orchestrator, managing whole teams of automated AI agents that do the actual building for you.
And this really gets to the heart of it. An engineer's identity is changing big time. It's not just about the elegant, beautiful code you can write by hand anymore. It's about the value you create, the problems you actually solve for people. That's the new scoreboard.
So, this is the new paradigm. This is the key lesson from the Warp playbook. The value is shifting, and it's shifting fast. It's moving away from the craft of coding and towards the outcome for the user. In this new world, being a great engineer is less about being a perfect craftsman and a lot more about being an effective architect of real-world solutions.
And that leaves us with this one final kind of provocative question to chew on. As AI takes over more and more of the actual building, what's left? What really defines the work of a software engineer? Is it the beauty of the machine they build, or the destination it actually takes us to? That right there is the question that's going to shape the next decade of tech.